one is typed, so it must be really complicated. I don't have any doubt that we are being playing a human role, and I don't have any doubt that we are one with the entire universe, and that individuality as a person, an ego, is nothing else but an illusion. So when death occurs, it sounds natural to me that we will come back to the dimension we always have been in, where we belong to the universal unity of the cosmos, home. In the very seldom occasions in which you slightly touch, something's happening to my voice, the edge of the issue of reincarnation, I always get the impression that you, with your often used explanation that you are not a dead master, I think that was a Zen master who said that. What happens after death, they asked him, and he said, oh, you asked me, I'm not. Well, they said, you're the master, and then he said, yeah, but I'm not dead. So the obvious question then that keeps floating in the air is here comes the question. being every one of us one with the totality, and seen clearly that individuality is just an illusion created by the mind, then what or who is that unity that supposedly reincarnates? Now that's a profound question. So if it's if that is an illusion, what is it that reincarnate, that's an interesting word. It comes from Latin, and it has in there somewhere C-A-R-N, which means flesh, reincarnate. It's the same as chili con carne, which is no, in the dish chili con carne. Carne, of course, means meat because it's dead. When it's alive, it's flesh. English language has two words, because who would want to eat flesh? In German, you eat flesh, but that's another story. Reincarnate is to assume a physical form, a fleshly body. So you reincarnate into that. What is it then that assumes the form of the physical vehicle? And the answers to a question like that are best found through self-observation. You can observe reincarnation in yourself many times during the day when you identify with a thought. Because the moment you completely identify with the thought, you, as the consciousness, have forgotten your essential nature as consciousness, forgotten who you are, and you have incarnated into a thought form. You have assumed a thought form. So that incarnation that happens many times during the day, unless you're really present, you may catch yourself completely identifying with the thought, you become it, and it gives, then you think you are it, it gives you your sense of self. And that's basically how reincarnation happens. And now you know directly, without needing some abstract philosophical discourse on my part, you can verify in your own experience what incarnation is and how it happens. You lose yourself in a kind of hypnotic state. It's a kind of, when you're completely identified with a thought, it's a kind of dream. It's a kind of hypnotic state or dream. So the consciousness, then, one could say, you as a person, well this goes a little bit into almost philosophical thought, you as a person is a dream of the one consciousness. It's an analogy, it is not totally correct. Nobody could give a totally correct statement about something like it transcends language and even analytical thought. But just as an approximation, just to get you a feeling of what it might be like, you as a person, you can, well, I'm just suggesting to you that maybe for a moment you consider the possibility, not trying to convince you of anything, or I'm not saying this is the ultimate explanation, but just suggesting that you might consider the possibility that you, the person that you are or seem to be in this particular lifetime, incarnation, is an aspect of the dream of the universe. You are a figure in the dream of the universal consciousness. You are being dreamt by the universal consciousness. And then you disappear, and then perhaps you reappear again because you haven't realized your identity with universal consciousness. So the dream continues in a slightly different form and a bit more drama, and then you disappear again, and then the dream happens again in a slightly different form, until the urge to this pull towards incarnating, identifying with form, begins to dissipate. And this may be happening in this dream character that you are here. The urge, the desire to reincarnate into the next thought form, because the thought form gives you your sense of self and your identity, and you begin to awaken to a deeper reality of who you are. And then you will notice in this lifetime the urge to reincarnate into another thought and another decreases. And so you can observe in this lifetime that the urge towards reincarnation diminishes. So, and that's one could say perhaps, that process, it happens because the universe is becoming more conscious, is awakening to itself. One could almost say that the universe started off, it all started off as a big, huge dream, the dream of form, gradually becoming more and more complex. And then another stage is reached when the dream begins to... There's so many things that you can, with reference to yourself and self-observation, that will tell you a lot of mysteries in the macrocosm. If you look into the microcosm of yourself and observe yourself clearly, because there's a famous ancient dictum, as above, so below. So you are, in a way, in many ways, you are a reflection of the macrocosm, of the totality. So just through self-observation, you can find many answers to questions that arise concerning the universe. So, in fact, the deepest answers you find by turning your attention within. less deep answers you find by turning your attention without, and you get big telescopes. And then you forget who or what is looking through the telescope. The mystery is out there, and you forget that the greatest mystery is the fact that there's a consciousness, that the universe is looking at itself, and the universe is conscious, or becoming conscious, waking up. So these are not ultimate explanations, but approximations or analogies that perhaps can give you a sense of how this all works.